Lindsay Ell. I wish I could give you a hug right now.
I wish I could give you a hug, B Dub. It's been forever. It's been
I
way too
know.
long.
I've tried to think of the last time we all hung out. I think it was in Denver like 2 years ago when you came to town and we had drinks. I
What?
think.
Was it that long? That's way too long.
I think it was. I mean, outside of like, industry events, but the last time I actually saw you in a town,
True, 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 true. Okay, yeah, then it was probably 2 years ago. That is too long.
that's insane.
That's so
Well, you've been
insane.
busy, to say the
I
least.
have been that. I definitely have been that. It's been kind of a crazy past 6 months. From the beginning of quarantine, we finished the record the day before Nashville shut down. And then from that point, it's been like, okay, finish the record. We were finishing the record remotely. I was doing guitars and vocals from my little studio in my house and sending things to Dan Huff, my fearless producer. That it's weird finishing a record remotely. It really, really was. We kind of like hit it in that weird spot where there was no other option. And but we did it. And the plan was always to release the album in August. So we just kind of stuck with that plan. And then putting the package together and all the artwork. So quarantine has actually been really busy for me. And as my friends are like, I'm going on vacation. And I'm like, vacation. I haven't even thought about vacation, but
Right.
but I'm just so excited that the music's here and that it's getting released into the world.
It's got like kind of an emotional process as you work your way through the album, right? I was reading about that. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but it's kind of like dealing with things going on in life, right?
Yeah, I was about halfway through writing the record when I'm like, I'm writing these songs in the process and in the order of how I'm experiencing this time in my life right now. And how cool would it be to write a record in order of the process? Like if my last record was called The Project, then this record is Heart Theory, aka The Process, because it is the steps I have gone through. And I feel like as human beings going through any transformative times in our lives, whether that's from heartbreak, losing a job, losing a loved one, a global pandemic, we constantly have to go through these moments in our lives where we're asking and processing and figuring out how to move on and learn from the things that life presents us. And so I was like, it would be so cool to write a concept album where track one starts in the stage one of shock, and then it goes in order from shock to denial to anger, all the way to stage 7 of acceptance, of this thing called the 7 stages of grief, which is just
Yeah.
one way to articulate that process. And have the record be in order. So from track 1 to track 12, you can hear me slowly unravel through all of the tracks.
That's crazy. I can't wait to go through the process of that. I got to make sure when I turn on my Apple Music or however I listen to it that I hit play. Because otherwise, if you just select a song, then it shuffles, and then you're like halfway through the album for like, wait a second, this doesn't sound right. So you got to make sure you hit play.
It's like bouncing around. Yeah. So, I mean, you can listen to it however you want, really. I just
Right.
want people to listen to the record. But if you want the full experience, you listen to it in order.
For people that are Geminis like me, you could listen to it in any order that you would want, and it would still make sense either way.
Does that make sense? Okay, perfect then. Then you can listen to it in any order you want.
Right. So yeah, you've been doing the album, getting that thing finished. What else have you been able to do during this? I don't want to call it a quarantine, because quarantine is what you do when you're sick. But like this period of distancing, of not being able to be on the road and be around fans and things like that. What have you been doing to keep your mental well-being in check? Like what have you been up to?
It has been a lot of work. I've just been working long days. But I bought a bike, which was, I know, not very exciting, but it was very exciting to me because normally on the road, we just don't have a lot of time to do things like that, especially when I'm at home. It's like you come home, you're washing laundry for 12 hours, you pack a bag and you're gone again. And so I bought a bike and I've been biking around Nashville. I've been cooking a lot. I love cooking so much. And it's been nice to like cook in a kitchen again. And so that part's been really fun.
Yeah, you come up with all these new things to try. Like this is you're not in a rush to just make a food, some food to go out and go to work. You have time to try. Have you tried a new recipe?
I've been trying all kinds of new recipes. I've been making like different kinds of pizzas with different kinds of crust. I made this sweet potato crust pizza. It is incredible. It is
Okay.
so good.
So I've
It's
heard
so
of cauliflower crust is a thing,
good.
but sweet potato crust. So how do you get the consistency? Because the wetness of the sweet potato, like how do you get it dry and ready for crust?
So you mash up sweet potatoes and then you put in a little bit of whatever kind of flour. I try to cook a lot of gluten-free stuff. So I use like oat flour, almond flour, or something, but you can use any kind of flour. And then a little bit of baking soda. And you mix that all together and then you roll it out and it actually cooks crispy like a good
Oh
pizza.
wow,
So good.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, I gotta give this a try,
You have
just
to.
to try it. You know,
I
you
mean,
have to
coffee
try new things.
is really good, but you need to try new things. You need to get inventive in these COVID 2020 times.
You know what else is really good? Regular pizza crust.
Regular pizza crust is pretty good. Actually, you could argue and say it is the best kind of pizza crust because it's the original compared to something trying to be the original. But hey, B-Dub, I'm just trying to get like creative and inventive here.
So I've gotten into I'm trying to learn how to use my cast iron more
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think that you get the flavor, like it's just a cool way to cook.
Oh,
But the
yeah.
cleaning of the cast iron, there's definitely an art to it. You know, it's not something you can just throw a pan in the
Mhm.
dishwasher. It's a challenge to keep that thing clean without losing the seasoning and having to do it all over again.
I know the cast iron is definitely an art to clean that thing right, especially what you're cooking. Like if your cooking really gets on there, you're right. It's like a very fine line between leaving the flavors as a part of the pan, which I really fully don't understand as a germaphobe. I'm like, yeah, but don't you want to clean it? Like you don't want to leave some
I think
old.
the argument is though when it gets hot enough, it kills I don't know. That's what my
Does
mom
it?
says
But
anyway.
like maybe when it's hot and then when it cools down again, isn't it like
So that's what I figured out. It took me a while to get this right. So I was like, how do I keep this thing clean? Because if you let it cool, then it's like you got to scrape it off, and it just gets gross, you know. So right when you get done cooking, pour hot water into it and get a scrub brush that's designed. They make them for cast iron so they don't scrape it, and then you get all the stuff off of there and hand dry it. You could also clean it with a little bit of like kosher salt, like a thick salt, and that will scrape it off of there.
oh, in the kitchen with B-Dub every day?
I mean, I'm more of a griller. I'm more of
Your
a
own kitchen show.
No. It's not. My presentation is an F. I can make it taste good, but I have not figured out how to make things look good yet.
We can work on that. Making it look good is probably the easiest. Making it taste good is the art. So
That's,
we can work on that.
okay, fair.
Yeah.
Making it look good is the science, and then the art is making it taste good.
Yes.
Or maybe it's the other way around. It kind of would be the other way around.
It's the other way around. Yeah, I just know that the look good part is the easy part.
All right, first thing you're going to do when all the restrictions are lifted, you can go back to normal life besides play a show.
I mean, okay, yeah, definitely playing a show is very high on my list. I would pay a lot of money to play a show right now. Probably just getting to hug most of my friends. It's been so weird. I've gotten to see a few of them like socially distant on porches, but it just feels so weird. And so I just can't wait to actually get to see them and spend some quality time and not have to necessarily be worried every time we hang out.
And I didn't even think about this. You can't travel to Canada to go see your family right now. It's locked down. So you haven't been able to see your parents since March before that.
Yeah. And really the last time I was home was last Christmas. And so
That's crazy.
yeah, it's been weird. And really right now my parents are a little bit older. And so I want to keep them safe and I want to make sure I'm not bringing anything into the house. And so I haven't been, wanting to even go. Well, I want to see them, but I don't want to put them at risk. So
that's a great way to look at it. But it's got to be hard. Is this the longest you've gone without going home?
Probably, especially because depending on where things sit in December, if I get to go home then or not, that'll be like a whole year. So that's probably the longest for sure.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you get to see them before. That's not awesome. I don't know why I said awesome to that, but that was that's a crush response. I was talking to Kaylee Hammock earlier, and we're talking about like things that we, when you have more time with yourself, you come up with like you identify. In radio, we call them crutches, and maybe like if you have certain things during a show that you do, just when you have an uncomfortable moment, or you have a moment where you just like feel like it's your fallbacks, and maybe that was it of just saying some sort of positive response to something that is not positive in the least bit. Awesome.
Hey, if you have a crutch of being positive and saying the word awesome, then I think that's the best crutch you could ever wish for in your life. So
It's that and carbs. I've learned are
I definitely know that one. I definitely love carbs.
it's so good to see your face. Hopefully we can get you out and on the road sooner than later. We'll all get through this. And the party on the other side of this is just going to be out of this world.
It is going to be fabulous. It's going to be so, so wonderful. I cannot wait for that. And I just thank you for always being such a fan of me. And I just appreciate you so much.
What's your favorite 2020 conspiracy theory that you've heard?
Oof, good question. I mean, every time I read a conspiracy theory of if COVID is real or not, I'm just like, really? I mean, there's definitely probably conspiracy theories of, either side blowing things up more than they need to. But I mean, you can't really fake people getting sick to this extent,
Right. That's kind of hard to on a global scale.
On a global scale. It's a
I
little,
could see because you see things happen, and I can't. I refuse to believe that any human would intentionally release this. Like I just don't think people. Maybe, but I feel like okay, it's possible they have viral labs. Where they
right.
and the whole purpose of those is to create vaccines and antivirals to defeat them. So I could see that maybe there was an accident or something, but I mean, just some of the stuff I've heard, I'm just like, Mom, stop posting it.
I know. Yeah, it is so crazy. But hey, we can just take one day at a time and do our best to be staying safe right now and not encouraging being in groups. And eventually, we're gonna figure this thing out.
Absolutely. Well, it's always good to talk to you. Congratulations on the album. Congratulations on getting to the happy side of everything. I know you've been through some crazy things the last few years, and I'm glad you're smiling for sure.
Well, it is so good to see you, and I cannot wait to have that party and see everybody in person.